I first learned about Trinity, I believe it was through a direct mailing when I was in high school, and I was a student at an Assemblies of God church youth group in Rapid City, South Dakota. I felt like God had a call in my life for ministry. I didn't really know what that meant, but my youth pastor was actually from one of our AG Bible colleges, and I thought, well, hey, I'm supposed to go there. And it just wasn't, as things would turn out, it just wasn't the right fit. And so I had been receiving some mailings, some just information that Trinity sends, and but then really began to find out more about the school through a couple of friends of mine from my youth group who attended, and something that really shed some more light on Trinity for me was a visit from actually one of the faculty members who showed up at our church on a Sunday one summer. I'm the district youth director for South Dakota Assemblies of God. In my role, we're involved with equipping and resourcing our local churches, and I'm specifically in the area of youth and children's ministry and Christian education. Prior to that, I served about 10 years in youth and children's ministry at the local level, and have been district youth director now for almost 2 years. The vision of Trinity is to prepare leaders of all ages, of all backgrounds, to go out and fulfill the Great Commission. I'm excited when I hear, especially lately, the emphasis on going into some of the outermost places, going into some of the places that maybe have been looked over or are kind of forgotten about. Trinity has always been known as a place that reaches to rural areas obviously because of the rural setting. But I see a shift happening where it's not just the rural areas, but why couldn't we send some more Trinity? Why couldn't we send some graduates to the inner cities, over to some of the places overseas that have not been reached? So it really revolves around that, training up leaders, and not just in full-time, pastoral or missionary types of ministry, but into the business place, into our schools, into a variety of areas. I think one of the strengths of Trinity is that it provides students with opportunities to be involved in evangelistic ministry while they are here at the school. Going back to my experience here, that was one of the, for me, that was sort of a pivotal time where I got to be involved in one of the traveling ministry teams, one of the evangelism teams. And it helped me to kind of stretched me a little bit, took me out of my comfort zone as we were going into towns and doing door-to-door evangelistic ministry. I know that there are courses, that focus on personal evangelism, on lifestyle evangelism, on living the life. And so I see that preparation there. And as I hear about initiatives where students are going to be taking a short-term missions trip that's required as part of their college career, I think that's only going to increase that focus and prepare students in that way. The things that I appreciated was the accessibility of the faculty and staff outside of the classroom. I can think of professors who I've been even pastors, leaders who were professors at that time who I still maintain contact with, who were very instrumental in that discipleship process, and realizing that it's not just one-time event. It is a process, and it takes place not only in the classroom, but Trinity provides an environment where that's happening. It's happening during the intramural events. It's happening during traveling ministry times. It's obviously happening during those chapel services. It's happening in the dormitories as floors are getting together for prayer and for Bible study. So I think that the strength in the discipleship process is that there's a lot of different areas where that happens outside of the classroom. Certainly they can be encouraging students that they know who are maybe juniors or seniors in high school to consider Trinity. Maybe they are, maybe they would have some influence in their church, in their local congregation, where they could encourage a church to include Trinity in its missions giving, maybe in its monthly missions giving, maybe looking for opportunities to, be a part of the work here financially. Prayer is obviously something that we know must happen. We must be lifting up our colleges, our institutions, and letting, I feel, especially sitting where I am now, letting the leaders of Trinity, letting the president and his team and those faculty members, letting them know that they're being prayed for, letting them know what a difference they are making in the lives of the students that are graduating from here, and the difference that they are making in the churches where they serve. I do what I do because I am passionate about seeing leaders reach other students, reach kids. The longer that I've been in ministry, I'm finding that the satisfaction and the return, I guess, the reward is seeing those students that they come in young and ready to grow, and maybe they weren't serving Christ, maybe they were, but then they start to understand that God has a call and a plan and a purpose for their lives. And maybe they go and they get involved in a place like Trinity Bible College or in some other avenue, finding training and learning how it is that they fit into where they fit in the kingdom and what God has for them to do. And so, especially now in this role as District Youth Director, being able to come alongside those leaders and training them, equipping them, resourcing them, so that they in turn can reproduce other leaders to expand the kingdom. You know, it's been, every time I'm back here, and the further away I am from, or the more time we spend in ministry, separated from graduation 11, almost 12 years ago now, I find myself, when I have the opportunity to be back here on this campus, going to different places where I can remember God meeting with me at a certain time. Met my wife here, and we were married 2 years into our time. And what I'm reminded of is that when a student is here, whether it's 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, it goes so quickly, but the moments, they're so valuable. And how important it is for students to take advantage of those moments, to get as much as they can during their time here, to ask questions of the faculty and the staff, and to be involved, and not to just sit back and let them pass them by and put in their time so that they can get a degree, but to truly engage and get involved and realize that the involvement now, the decisions they make now, will play a large part in where they go down the road and where God has for them. And they may not see it right now. They may not. It may not be clear, but being faithful in those little times and being open and receptive. So that's been my encouragement to students as I've had the chance to interact here today, is taking advantage of those moments and then doing what we can to see others. There's so many more students that need to be here to experience those moments and to get involved. And they don't realize it yet, but we need to introduce them to TBC, maybe reintroduce some others to Trinity, and watch what God will do.